let's talk about change. It's pretty much the one constant in life. But how we actually deal with it, well, that's a whole other story. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful, ancient guide to not just coping with change, but maybe, just maybe, actually embracing it.
So, we've all heard it, right? Someone says, hey, don't worry, change is good. And it's supposed to make us feel better. But let's be honest with ourselves. Our gut reaction is usually the total opposite. We get suspicious, anxious, or we just dig our heels in and resist it. It's like there's this huge gap between what we're told we should feel and how we actually feel. But here's a thought. What if this whole internal fight isn't about one side being right and the other being wrong? I mean, what if the very idea of slapping a label on change, calling it either good or bad, is the real problem here? To get our heads around this, we're gonna have to go back in time, way back, almost 2,000 years actually, to the thoughts of one of the most powerful men in the world, a Roman emperor who also happened to be a pretty profound philosopher. And yeah, he had a radically different take on all of this. And this is it. This is his big idea. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "There is no evil in things changing, just as there is no good in persisting in a new state." Whoa. Think about that. He's basically saying that change itself doesn't have any moral value. It isn't inherently evil, just like staying put isn't inherently good. He's giving us a third option. So this is the heart of the Stoic answer. It's a whole philosophy that challenges us to step back from our automatic reactions, to move beyond these simple labels of good and bad. And it's a mental shift that can, honestly, change everything. So here's the absolute key takeaway. The Stoics tell us we have to get rid of these labels completely. A new job, moving to a different city, a relationship shifting, these things aren't fundamentally good or bad. According to this way of thinking, they just exist. They just are. Okay, so how in the world do we get to a place where we can see things so neutrally? Well, the trick is learning to separate what actually happens from the story we tell ourselves about what happens. Let's break that down. First up, you've got the objective event. This is just the raw data, the bare facts of the situation, completely separate from our judgment. Stuff like, the project's deadline was moved up, or my rent went up by 10%. See? No emotion there. It's just a statement of fact. But here's where we get into trouble. We almost instantly add our opinion. So the objective event, my rent went up, becomes the story, this is a total disaster, I'm ruined. That story, that judgment we add on top, that is the real source of our struggle and our suffering. Now, understanding that difference is the first major step. The next is actually putting it into practice. And that leads us down the path of acceptance, a totally new attitude for dealing with whatever life decides to throw at us. It really boils down to this pretty simple 3-step process. First, just stop fighting reality. You got to acknowledge that this change has happened. Second, try to see it objectively, just the facts on the ground, and strip away that dramatic story you told yourself. And third, and this is the most empowering part, you decide to make the most of it. This is not about giving up. It's about actively adapting. I really want to double down on this one. That first step, ceasing the fight, is the absolute foundation. You can't make the most of anything if you're still burning all your energy just resisting it. Acceptance isn't about liking the change, not at all. It's about acknowledging reality so you can finally start working with it instead of against it. So, that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with today. Just think for a second about a change you're facing right now. It could be big or small. What's the objective event, and what's the story you've been telling yourself about it? If you try to apply this Stoic lens, what change in your life could you start to see differently right now?